Hi, this is a short video to clarify the instructions for you to make your final task. The idea is for you to write a pedagogical essay. On the handout, you have a brief explanation of what a pedagogical essay is all about. The idea is that you explain to a potential reader the benefits of teaching English according to your interpretation, your pedagogical interpretation of teaching English at secondary school. In order to develop your essay, you will have to first choose one pedagogical item. There is a list and a definition of one of different pedagogical items. Then you have to choose one source out of which you will plan 2 activities. Once you have made these decisions, you have to go to the diseño curricular. From the diseño curricular, you have to choose elementary school or elementary or high school. Then you have to choose one language function and the linguistic items that realize that function. And lastly, you have to contextualize that language function pedagogically within the frame of the source you have chosen. And then plan 2 activities. Basically, the activities should focalize on the comprehension of the narrative and the comprehension of the notion encompassed in the linguistic items you have chosen. Once you have done these things, you have to pass on to the writing of the essay. You have to provide your essay with a title, then with an introduction. In the introduction, you should tell your potential reader you should provide your claim. You should tell your potential reader what the benefits of teaching English in the way you propose will be. And then you have to pass on to the theoretical development. Mind you, before the theoretical development, you have to include the activities, the sample activities. After the sample activities, you should develop the theories of language. And here I want to tell you the following. When resorting to the theory, you shouldn't parrot the theory. You shouldn't ramble on the theory. What you should do is to pick up the main concepts from the theory and exemplify them through your very same activities. You should do the same with theories of learning, and this will be developed in another paragraph. Finally, you have to write your conclusion. In the conclusion, you reword your claim. You remind your reader of the importance of teaching English in the way you propose. And you also should include what results might be expected in case your activities were put into practice. And finally, you have to add bibliography. Well, I hope you will find this video useful and we will meet soon. Bye-bye. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye. Hello. This short video is to explain to you what your final task is all about. Your final task has basically 2 parts. One part that has to do with planning some little teaching, and another part that has to do with the explanation of that teaching. To contextualize and to design your little teaching or your some teaching, first you have to get familiarized with Fabian's project. Fabian is an arts teacher working at an elementary school in Moreno. Then you have to watch the 2 videos on Shaun the Sheep, and you have to choose one. Then you have to go to the diseño curricular, choose a year from the diseño curricular, and from that particular year you have to focalize on one language function and the linguistic items used to realize that language function. Then you have to go back to the source on Shaun the Sheep and create a script, a narrative very short, very brief. I have stated the number of lines on the handout, on the final task. In that narrative, you should also contextualize or include the language function that you might teach. Once you have planned these two activities, because there should be two activities, one focalizing on comprehension and the other one focalizing on the language function. Once you have planned the two activities and the script, you should upload this material onto the activity feed I have already opened. Then you have to tape your body in this way, explaining the theory that underlies those activities. You have to organize your audiovisual presentation applying the steps I have developed in the handout. There should be an introduction. Through the introduction, you address your audience. You have to bear in mind that your audience might be teachers of English or students of English interested in teaching, but not knowing much about or knowing nothing about theories of learning and theories of language. In the introduction, you should tell them what is your purpose by teaching or by applying the activities that you have planned. And you also have to tell them why you think that applying those activities might better the teaching of English. Then, in another session of your presentation, you should explain the theories of language that underlie those activities. But when you explain the theory, you shouldn't repeat what the theory says. What you should do is to pick up from the theory the key concepts and then exemplify those concepts through your own activities. You have to do the same with theories of learning. I insist, you shouldn't parrot what the theory claims. You should pick up from the theory the main concepts, and you have to explain how those concepts are applied in your activities. Anyway, we should bear something in mind, that sometimes the theory can be applied in part, not totally. So this is what you should explain in your presentation. And you have to tell why. Why is it that you think that you can apply this theory and how? Or you should explain why is it that it's not possible to apply the theory 100% and say why. You finish your audiovisual presentation with a conclusion. In the conclusion, you should reword your introduction. Remember that in the introduction, we explain, or you should explain, the purpose of your activities. You also you have to go over this, plus the benefits of applying or using those activities. And what you should include in the conclusion is which results you expect from the students in case those activities can be applied. You have to imagine, okay? Well, so we are meeting next week to this, not to, I mean, watch this video, read the instructions for the final task again. But during the meetings, what I would like to do is to share ideas. I mean, you sharing ideas with me and with your mates. When I say sharing ideas, I mean what is it that you have understood from Fabian's project, which text from Shaun the Sheep you might use, and which aspect or which material from the diseño curricular you will use, and how is it that you will contextualize that material from the diseño curricular through Shaun the Sheep. And then we might discuss which theories of learning and which theories of language you might be applying and why. Okay? Well, I hope that you will find this useful, and I also hope to see you all next week during the Google Meets. Bye bye. Have a nice time.